blending beats and brushes, the surprising surge of sound systems into UK art and fashion. Picture this: you walk into an art exhibition, expecting quiet contemplation of canvases and sculptures, only to be enveloped by thumping bass lines and vibrant rhythms. It's not just a fleeting trend, it's a cultural revolution reshaping how we experience creativity in Britain. But here's where it gets intriguing. What if the future of galleries isn't silent, but symphonies of shared stories? Take Peter Doig's House of Music exhibit at the Serpentine Gallery, for instance. Visitors aren't greeted by mere paintings. Instead, they encounter two distinct sound systems that transform the space into an auditory adventure. In the North Gallery, a classic Western Electric and Bell Labs setup from the cinema days of the 1920s and 1930s echoes with historical resonance, while Doig's personal Klangfilm Uranor speakers, once owned by Kraftwerk's Florian Schneider, pump out modern melodies. Even his artwork, like the towering speaker stacks in Maraca's painting, visually amplify the theme. Doig himself felt a twinge of apprehension. "I was genuinely worried," he admits. Would folks just stare blankly, wondering why music is crashing the party with paintings? Yet, he's far from alone in this sonic experimentation. His show illuminates a broader movement, where artists are reimagining galleries as immersive listening lounges rather than hushed halls. Consider the Astor Gates, who orchestrated intimate listening sessions at his White Cube exhibitions in New York, curating selections from his vast vinyl archive. Up in Liverpool, at the Walker Gallery, Zinzi Minute's blood-filled speaker installation buzzed during the groundbreaking Conversations group show, adding a layer of auditory activism. This spring, V&A East buzzed with Sound Clash, a weekend packed with sound system activities that celebrated communal vibes. And later this month, Autograph and House of Dread are hosting Listening Room, a performance delving into how sound functions as presence, erasure, and rebellion within historical archives. Doig is even inviting pals to lead sound service sessions. This week, poets Roger Robinson and Linton Kwesi Johnson are at the helm. This isn't confined to the arts. The UK is seeing a boom in Japanese-inspired listening bars, where audiophiles gather to savor music in focused settings. But the real story is how this ties into sound system culture, born in Jamaica during the 1950s as an affordable, inclusive way for communities to enjoy the newest tunes. Think neighborhood parties fueled by shared record crates and booming speakers. It crossed the Atlantic with the Windrush generation, bringing its infectious energy to Britain. One pioneer was Duke Vin's West London setup, which revolutionized UK music with its deep, bone-rattling bass that made crowds dance and buildings shake. Doig got a first-hand taste of this when he relocated to Trinidad, where even his daughter's school fete featured massive speaker towers, reminiscent of Notting Hill Carnival setups. Sound system culture is woven into the very fabric of the place, he explains. It's just there, like the air you breathe. Professor Julian Enrique from Goldsmiths, University of London, a lifelong scholar and participant in sound system circles, sees Doig's work as a gateway to new horizons. "We are charting unexplored territory here," he notes. Sound systems are reaching fresh audiences and being viewed through a novel lens. He points to the Turner Prize-nominated Black Obsidian Sound System, a diverse collective of black and brown queer artists who have transformed galleries like Whitechapel into communal hubs, reshaping sound systems as tools for connection. They're broadening its reach in ways that challenge the old norms, Enrique adds, noting how it was once predominantly a male-dominated scene. And this is the part most people miss. By inviting broader participation, it's evolving into something more inclusive and dynamic. But sound systems aren't stopping at visual arts, they're infiltrating fashion too, becoming the must-have accessory for style mavens. Valentino embedded a premium audio setup in its New York flagship store for a marathon 10-hour listening event, turning shopping into a sonic escapade. At this year's Milan Design Week, Stone Island teamed up with Shiver's Howard Brown's Friendly Pressure for a collaborative flair. And Doig himself sparked the fashion frenzy with his 2020 Dior runway show, where colossal speaker stacks hovered over models strutting down the catwalk, blending bass with haute couture. So, why the sudden love affair between high-fidelity sound and creative worlds? Culture critic Suze Webb, who explored this phenomenon on her Substack, argues that speakers have morphed into symbols of status. Over recent years, sound systems and top-tier hi-fi gear have become trendy and desirable, she says. For beginners wondering what all the fuss is about, think of it as upgrading from a basic radio to a concert hall in your living room. It's about that crisp, immersive audio experience that makes music feel alive. Webb highlights the growing diversity in creative teams, with more Black and Caribbean voices infusing a deeper appreciation for sound system heritage. Influential figures like Virgil Abloh, who started as a DJ before designing, have played a role too. His protege, Devon Turnbull, crafted the OJAS listening room at 180 The Strand, offering deep-dive listening sessions that encourage reflection. Enrique acknowledges the bittersweet side. Some of the original radical elements of sound systems, its roots in resistance and community empowerment, have faded in the spotlight. Yet, he remains optimistic. I'd prefer this embrace over its absence, he explains. It's better for brands to choose sound systems for their shows than opting for something generic like a skating rink. But here's where it gets controversial. Is this commercialization diluting the culture's grassroots spirit? Or is it a vital way to keep it alive and accessible? Some might argue it's empowering, introducing sound systems to new fans, while others see it as gentrification of a once underground movement. What do you think? Should sound systems be a staple in art galleries and fashion runways, or is there a risk of losing their authentic edge? Is this a celebration of diversity, or a slippery slope toward cultural appropriation? Share your opinions in the comments. We'd love to hear your take.